Hey, this is Dan here from RUNESILK, and I'm joined by one other, and that's none other than Damo for show, and this is the Beardmail Podcast. So sit back, listen, and enjoy.
Welcome to the Beardmail Podcast. This is episode 50-something, and it's a very exciting episode. It's a very exciting episode because we've not just got my beard, we've not just got Dan's beard, but we've also got a very special guest's beard. So we're going to be having a freestyle bit of interviewing, a bit of banter, a bit of chatter, and we're going to be telling our listeners all about something epic that's happening in the next couple of weeks. I'm very excited. Dan, you've pulled the strings on this one, mate. How are you feeling about today's podcast?
Yeah, it's good. Really excited, actually.
For those of you
you see how excited I am. Ooh,
for those of you that are listening,
I'm actually only really moving to keep warm because it's freezing.
If you want to see Dan doing his moves, he's on YouTube, but we are obviously also on Spotify and everywhere else. So thank you for listening, people. Without further ado, shall we announce him and bring him in, Dan?
Yeah, look at that.
It's the one. It's the only, it's the JJ, it's John Jackson, it's Mr. Braw himself. Here he is, John Jackson. Hello, mate.
Hello, lads. Thanks for having me on, lads. This is awesome.
Thank you for coming on. I ought to remind you, because Dan forgets all the time, we are doing this for YouTube, but it's also for people that are just listening. So if you do anything epic, upside down press ups or something, you need to tell people what you're doing so they can imagine it in their brains if they're only listening. So it's for audible and for visual. But welcome to the show, JJ. We're very pleased and proud to have you on. Thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for the invite, man. Thanks for the invite. It's great to be on the Beardmail Podcast. I've been listening to it, and it's nice to be a guest on a podcast. Like we've got our own podcast as well, but it's nice to be a guest on one.
Yeah, you obviously got the. You could give us some tips, John. What have we got to do? What have we got to do? We're getting some guests on, obviously, but I mean, your podcast been going for a while, very successful. What's the secret?
I don't know if there is a secret, man. It's I let Billy run with it now because I started off doing it myself, just interviewing our pro athletes and stuff like that, and the workload got too much. Like you guys know what it's like running a business and stuff. There's only so much you can do, so I had to draft Billy in to do it, and he's way funnier than I am. So yeah, it's he deals with the guests and stuff now. So it is a Brawcast, but it's kind of Billy like running the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. You're doing the right thing. Get YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, all the good places, I say, and you're just hitting all bases. It takes time.
Well, it sounds
it's on Alexa as well. If you can get Alexa to actually find it, she's a bit of a mare at the minute. So Alexa, play the Beardmail Podcast, playing the Yellow Big Bear. What? No! Stop it! No! The podcast. So she's she's not the best at listening at the minute, but hopefully she'll learn.
It proper struggles with a Scottish accent as well. Like I need to slow it down for this as well.
I can imagine her trying to find the Brawcast might be quite a challenge because she'd be probably finding broadcast, right?
Exactly. That's it. You get BBC News and STV, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's tricky.
Dan, I haven't got a list of questions, but I've got things that are popping in my brain right now. Let's imagine that people have never heard of John, they've never heard of Braw Beard Oils, they've never heard of Glasgow or Scotland or the competition that happens, which we're going to talk about. It's like a 2-year-old, John. Teach people, what does it actually mean to be Braw? What does the word Braw mean to you? Because it's quite significant, right?
Well, so the Braw, the actual word Braw means good, attractive, anything positive really in Scotland. To say something's braw, so both of you have braw beards. It's a good-looking beard. It's an attractive beard, presentable beard. So that's what braw means. It's just a word that's used in Scotland a lot. But yeah, it's kind of developed. I've kind of blended into this logo here. I drew the logo like back in 2012, I think it was, and I've just kind of morphed into that logo now, and it's become more of a personal brand, I guess. It's evolved over the years, and it's cool, man. It's like we started off it started from a broken back and broke my back mountain biking. Through recovery and rehab, learned how to make massage oils. That was part of the course I signed up to. It was sports therapy courses. So I learned how to make the base oils and stuff for the massage oils, add the essential oils to fragrance them, that kind of stuff, and also get the benefits from them as well. And then my wife was using hair oil at the time, just expensive hair oil, and it had argan and stuff like that in it. So I started making some natural stuff for her, and it seemed to work. So I tried it on my facial hair I had at the time, had a really crap wiry beard, and started using it in that. And it worked. It kind of worked, but the recipes needed tweaked. The ratios of the oils needed tweaked to suit more coarse beard hair. Also, it's more like pubes than it is like head hair, so I need to thicken it up a wee bit. And then it seemed to work. Started giving it to family and friends. They seemed to like it. Like, that's the condensed version, but basically, yeah, made a website, started getting the safety assessments, insurance, all the stuff you need to do. Started selling it to the public, and the snowball just kept going. It's that makes it sound glamorous, like it's been anything but, it's been a
yeah, I can vouch for that. just how unglamorous the beard care world is. Yeah,
that's exactly it, man. Everybody sees the shiny side of it, but there's a lot, like, as you just, I'm not going to give away what you're doing, but where you are just now, that's the next step in evolution for your brand as well, and it's stressful. It's proper stressful. But it's these steps you need to take to keep building your brand.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Is that where, I might be jumping ahead slightly, but is that where or one of the reasons why you brought the Braw competition in? Was it kind of a way to get awareness out there and maybe expand the brand, or was it just a kind of an organic, hey, it would be cool? Tell us about the origin of where Braw, the championships came from, where I got my first trophy. Just wanted to add.
You did, that's right, you did. So it started the first one was in 2017. That was in Drygate Brewery in Glasgow, where it's held every year. But how it came about was we have this community called the Brawlerhood, which is basically a community built up of Braw Beard customers. So that started off when people started sending in selfies with their bottle of Braw Beard oil, and more people done it. So I was like, right, I need to make something off this. So that was in 2013. I added a gallery to the website and called it the Brawlerhood. So I just kept adding to the gallery, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. We made a Facebook group, and then people kept asking, when are we going to have a meet-up or just go to a pub and have a laugh? And in this time, we had a couple of brand parties and shops and stuff, just closed the doors in shops that stocked Braw Beard products, and just had a wee party, got some beers and stuff like that. So the attention was there on the brand, and we wanted to do something. It was just going to be a wee beard competition in a pub. I thought we'd just hire a section of the pub, get a few mates round, and just, I don't know, get up on stage and judge each other's beards kind of thing. But then the Liverbeards, the Liverpool Beard Moustache Club, they got in touch in 2016 because they were hosting the British Beard and Moustache Championships. So they were looking for sponsorship. So Braw Beard became the headline sponsor for the pre-party, which was on Friday night. I think it was Captain Fawcett was the headline sponsor of the main show, but we were the pre-party. And I got speaking to Drew and Tom and the rest of the Liverbeard guys down there, and I was like, I want to do a beard competition of some sort, but I don't know quite how to go about it. So they gave me some tips, gave me kind of a breakdown of the categories and the criteria for judging. I was like, you know what, we could actually do this. I had a good relationship with Drygate Brewery at the time, I still do, and I just contacted them. I was like, how do you feel about do this event? Like, we'll take full ownership of it, but we need to use your venue, and that's what we've done. So I had the Braw Beard Moustache Championships, I think was 12 categories at the time, had a live band, and compare and a raffle to raise money for Cajona's testicular cancer charity. So we worked with Cajona's pre-COVID. I was aware, obviously everybody's aware of the mental health crisis that's going on at the moment. It's gone on for years, but it's a lot more important now coming off the back of COVID. A lot of people are struggling. So the charity we're working with this year for February is Chrissy's House Suicide Awareness Charity. So yeah, we're always trying to raise money for charities as well. So that's kind of where we're at, man. It sells out every year. The capacity is about 300, and it's sold out every year so far. Ticket sales are doing well. We're a wee bit behind on previous years, but I think that's just the hesitation coming out of COVID. People are, we're past that stage now, but people are still thinking it might get cancelled. Something might happen, it might get cancelled. So I say we're behind. We're only like 30 tickets behind where we usually are. It's still on track to sell out. So yeah, it's going to be a good one again, man.
I think I think this kind of year, isn't it? I think we're seeing it, and not just with RUNESILK, but with my other businesses, that coming out of Christmas this year, I think it's now the 723rd of January. Everyone is sort of like just hesitant with everything, I think, as well. And because you had to, obviously, the last one, not the one, was it 2021? You didn't do it last year, did you?
So 2020 was the last championships. We actually done an event
That's right.
on the date that it would have been last year. It was a Brawcast live, our podcast. We done a live one. That was
That's right.
Just to keep the stage warm, just to remind people we're still there, kind of thing.
Yeah, because obviously, that must have been quite difficult having to cancel, quite a big event in your calendar due to COVID, and then the bouncing back from that. I can imagine there's quite a lot of challenges. It's like you say, it's getting people to part with their cash, thinking, shit, what happens if we go into another lockdown, or yeah, it's a great event though. I can definitely put my hands. I mean, dangerous being in a brewery. I mean, I nearly missed my category. I was so pissed. Like, it was my first competition. Hadn't have a clue what I was doing. Was definitely propping up the bar at the night. And I think I was outside talking to, I can't remember who I was talking to now. And then Joe DeBill came out and said, Dan, you just missed your category. And I was like, what do you mean I just missed it? He was like, yeah, I ran in and I literally just managed to get to the back of the queue. And I was just like, whoo, that was just like nearly dying out of breath and very pissed at that point. Like, yeah, okay, cool, just made it at the back of the queue. So, yeah, no, cracking event. Those who are listening, if you haven't booked your ticket for Braw, as John said, there are only 30 tickets behind. Get your ticket because it's a cracker of an event and a brilliant venue as well.
Thanks, man.
Well, I have some news. That 30 will be 29 by tonight, John, because I'm booking my ticket tonight. Just had a little look. I can catch a flight up. What year was that when you did yours? It's too far.
Mine was the last one. It was the last one before the pandemic, so it would have been the 2021, I think.
Because I've been up for two of them, and obviously I've been to a lot of competitions, and you've mentioned some really interesting stuff, John, and you talk a little bit for me about the golden years of things growing and starting and brands becoming, and I think actually the British Championships, when you did the championships with Live Beards, that was the first time I'd seen you guys. You actually had a stall there, and you were giving away wristbands, and you had throwing the sack in the little hole competition, and I got some of the swag there, and I think that was the first time I met you guys. But the first time I went up to Glasgow, it's such a long drive, and I was thinking, can I go or not? And the drive up there is not so bad. The first time I went on the train, and the whole journey, I was just getting demo poses. I went up with Russell Bristow and we just got hammered on the train and had a lovely time. But then got on the stage. Dan talking about nerves, him getting on the stage. When I got on the stage, we'd arranged for me to see if we could get the whole crowd to do a demo pose. And I was so nervous doing that, John. And it worked. It was brilliant. I got a cracking photo of it. So that was great. Then the second time, it's not the drive up, it's the drive back when you're feeling a bit worse. I wasn't even driving, I was in someone else's car, but it's long. So when I looked at the flights, I couldn't believe this, and other people might want to have a look, but don't boost the prices. I can't believe it was only 50 quid to fly. And I'm sure if I went on the train, it'd be more than that. And obviously, if I drove with petrol, it'd be more than that. So actually, 50 quid to get up there, it's a lot more. It makes it more plausible than I would have expected. So yeah, so I'm going to be coming along. I booked my ticket tonight. And we jumped straight into the competition. We haven't even said when it is. So obviously, it's Saturday, the 18th of February, right?
Yes.
And Drygate is a brewery, so you have to be over 18.
Drygate Brewery. Yeah, you do. I think you can be 16 accompanied by an adult, but let's go 18. It's safer to be 18. We've put over 18 in the rules. So
yeah, I like it, to be fair, because I think there's enough. There's enough competitions out there, and some of them are families friendly and they are in the daytime. I kind of like that this is at night time and it's for over 18s only, and it's in a brewery. So it's a little bit different. I like it. The band is always rocking, and it's in that in that back room, and obviously you're surrounded by loads of epic Scottish people, and the Brotherhood are all there, and yeah, it's good. It's definitely if you've done a couple of beard competitions or you've never been to one, then Braw is certainly one that you have to go and have a look, because it is a little bit different.
I agree.
Yeah, good competition. Going backwards, because Dan, you scooted us right to the end.
I couldn't help it. I got so excited because, for one, it was my first ever competition as well. and I still say it today. So I entered it was the over 4-inch natural, and I always kind of, they go, what's that? The 4-inch natural? I'm like, yeah, but I came second. So at least I didn't come first in the 4-inch natural, because everyone kind of always tries to put like a bit of a sexual connotation onto the 4-inch, for the inches and the categories, 4-inch, 8-inch. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, it was, but I came second. It's fine, and it was to a guy in a kilt, so I'm happy with that.
Well, I wanted to ask, one of the first things you talked
That's the
about,
thing
John.
with it. Sorry.
I think sorry, John. I think we've got a bit of a lag. You mentioned about breaking your back, and I was going to ask you first off, like, is it all fixed now? Because that's a very significant, traumatic, life-changing event, and obviously off the back of it, you created Braw, which is brilliant. But you did actually say I broke back mountain biking, and my brain just went broke back mountain, and you got your little Scottish accent going on a little bit, and I broke back mountain. I was thinking, what's he talking about now? What's he going on about? But is your back all right? And are you fully recovered?
Yeah. I would say I'm 98% recovered. It still gives me jip now and again. It's one of them. So it was a wedge fracture in C7 and T1, which is it's your last neck and your first back. Last neck vertebrae and your first back vertebrae. So it's up here. Just base of the neck for anybody listening. So it's a wedge fracture, which means my vertebrae, if they're usually kind of square shape, they're now wedged. So my neck sits further forward a wee bit than it should, which causes a wee bit tension on the muscles. So day-to-day life, usually okay. I've been training hard or something like that, I'll feel it. It was at the stage I was going for a massage every 6 weeks, every 2 months, just to keep it loose. Just keep the muscle supple, because it does tension up and that gives you headaches and stuff like that. So yeah, it's okay, man. It's okay. It's fine. I'm still able to train and still go on a bike and on a motorbike and stuff. So I don't let it stop me. I actually raced 2 weeks after breaking my back. I was meant to take like 6 months off the bike, according to the doctor. But I never needed surgery because it was a wedge fracture. The vertebrae were still intact. They were a bit cracked, but they weren't shattered, so I didn't need surgery. So I was training for a race. It was a 6-hour downhill mountain biking endurance race up at Fort William on the World Cup track. And the idea of the race was, in 6 hours, see how many laps you can do off the track. So I think at the time we'd done 11. But I've been training for the race, so I jumped forward a wee bit there. But I've been training for the race for a year, like get my fitness up and going up and training, riding up there almost every weekend. And 2 weeks before the race, that's when I fell off and broke my back. Ended up in hospital overnight. They released me, but only they said you can go if you've got someone to look after you, which was my girlfriend at the time, now wife. She was there, my dad was there, and so they came back up the road, they let me go. But they says, don't drive, don't lift anything heavy, be very sensible, don't go back to work. So I was like, there's no chance of me getting back on a bike then. They says, no, you're off the bike for 6 months. So the week after, my dad was doing the race as well. So the week after I went up to Fort William for him to practice, I just went up there as support just in case anything happened to him. At last ditch effort, I would drive the van back if anything happened. But he was fine. And I had a shot of his bike around the car park when he wasn't looking, and I thought, I can actually pedal, it's not too bad. So when it came to race day, he took his bike up, I put my bike in the van as well. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you shouldn't be taking that anywhere. I says, well, I'm just going to go cycle about the car park maybe. But my entry was already in. I'd entered like months before. So I went on sign on, got my number, stuff like that, stuck it on the bike. And my idea in my head was just take loads of painkillers and just do one lap, see how I feel. And if I feel okay, I'll do another lap. And then just keep going until I feel pain. And after one lap, I guess the adrenaline kicked in because I ended up doing 11 laps and I finished, I think it was 18th, 136 or something.
So how far is a lap?
And then how far? It's 6 minutes. So I don't know what it is in length. I think it's 1.5 miles or something, but it's basically from the top of the mountain to the bottom over big rocks.
Got you. So we're talking extreme downhill biking, because obviously Fort William, that rings a bell for me. That's near Ben Nevis, right? So we're talking in a mountainous terrain.
So it's the hill Annockmore, which is just off the side of Ben Nevis. If you look up downhill mountain biking Fort William, the World Cup, it's the World Cup track that we use. So the ones we use for the World Championships and the World Cup, that's what we use. So it's it's a pretty serious track. So yeah, slipped off, took the impact through the top of my head, broke my back, and then raced 2 weeks later, took 4 or 5 months off the bike then, and then just got back on it and back to it. It's like,
so
fast forward before you move on, David, and then fast forward. This is my kind of like my hook to go and make sure you go and get onto the YouTube here. So fast forward, I'm flicking through Instagram last night. And this is someone who's only 98% recovered. I can't even do this, and I haven't even broken anything. So you may or may not be able to see it. But your man John here, just casually, just up on his hands, in a handstand position, just busting out some vertical press ups. I guess that's what that's called. So that looks like a man who's pretty recovered. I mean, the absolute animal.
Man, it's. I like training. I used to box. I boxed as an amateur and stuff like that. I've done a bit of Muay Thai. I know you've done some Muay Thai demo, and I just like training. I like being fit. I like being physically fit. It's good for your head. It's good for your mentality. And I've been training with a guy, Kev Grigg. He's a few doors along from the office, which is really handy. But I started training with him, and it was just really to build the strength back up in my back. When I got back in the gym, I was doing spinning classes just to keep my legs going after the accident, and then wanted to get back into strength training. And Kev's been really good helping me there, just with correct posture and stuff. Because, in a bent over row or something like that, my back's not as straight as it should be, and it's not going to be. So we just need to work on posture and that kind of thing. And I just kind of get the bug for trying different things, like the handstand press ups. One day I was in the office making oils. I finished the orders, and I was like, I wonder if I can do a handstand press up, because I didn't want to do it with kipping. Like in CrossFit, they do kipping, so they use the momentum with their legs. So I thought I'll try it strict, and I managed one. I was like, all right, well, that proves I can do it. So I just keep trying it. So every Tuesday, we have the Tuesday night check-in with the Brotherhood, which is just a live call like this, and we just chat, and it's just to make sure everyone's doing okay. It started off in the pandemic, and it's just kind of continued on. So every time before the Tuesday night check-in, I'll just go and I'll lean up against the wall and do some handstand press-ups, and it's just really to get the blood flowing, get the endorphins going, just to make sure I can be upbeat when it comes to chatting. Even if you've had a crap day, that's going to sort you out. It's going to get the blood flowing and put you back in your place, sort of thing.
JJ, the challenge has been set. Right? Dan, you've got a massive big wall there. You've got the space. You've got the room. You're in your new unit. The distance is right on the camera. You have got to go and do one now and just see how you get on. I was contemplating it. But I really don't. I'd rather try it when no one's watching first, because Dan, I'll probably knock the heater off the wall. Do it. Come on.
Damo, I've never done it against a wall, headstand, handstand in my life.
Be inspired.
I don't know, because then I'll break my back. I'll probably break something, and it'll probably be a heater as well, which will be expensive.
One tip,
Dan, you carry on. I'm going to have a practice.
Take your shoes off. Make sure.
Damo is going for it. Oh, is it? Yeah. He's actually doing it. So I'm so physically inept. It's unreal.
Get 999 on speed dial just in case.
Yeah, I've got the phone. I'm so physically inept that if I tried that, I probably would break something.
I would be happy if I can just balance upside down a bit on my head. How do you start off in a headstand, John? Or how does it work? Or do you just go balls deep and just flip and just try and get the wall?
No. Start off in a headstand, so head on the floor, hands, guessing a triangle kind of shape, and just kick your feet up, but try not to put a hole in your wall when you do it with your heel.
Right, you carry on with the interview.
A headstand position. Just push.
You asked the question.
So my son came home from his acro classes. So he does Ningbo, ninjutsu and acrobatics, so two types of different ninja kind of styles. And he came back, and he's pretty much doing exactly that, up against the here he goes, up against the walls, and we were so worried he was going to boot.
You did that, John. there is no fucking way you get your head off the floor and do press ups. That's ridiculous. John, you're an animal.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Give us a year. We'll have you back on.
What's that?
I said, give us a year, we'll have you back on, and the three of us will do it together.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we do that. Yeah, we'll do that, or we'll do it at the Braw Beard Moustache Championships 2024. How about that?
No, hang on. How many weeks? We've got 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe we could get it in when we get it done by then.
Maybe. It is hard.
I'm still trying to get the pass.
It's hard to do. Oh, really?
I'm still trying to get the pass to come to this year. The problem is my wife's away in South Africa from the 2nd to the 20th. So it's trying to convince a grandparent to watch my kids while I go up to Scotland. It's going to be tight. But if I can do it, it'll be awesome to get up there. But I think this year is going to be tight. Definitely next year, though.
Yeah. Good, man. It'd be good to see both of you again, but whether that's this year or next year, man, definitely. We'll see you there.
Well, there's a few of my DBFC boys are coming up. And what's the capacity there, John? If you did sell it out, how many people would normally come along?
300. 300. I think the capacity for the venue is 340, I think. But I like to keep it at 300 just so there's a bit of space around people.
Yeah.
You know, it's, again, coming out of the COVID thing, people's spatial awareness has, or the space they're comfortable with has increased. You know, the space around you. So, yeah, I'm just aware of that as well. Again, I don't want to make people anxious or build up any anxiety or something. So we're trying to make it kind of spacious for people. So, yeah, about 300 we're at. That's the capacity for this event is 300.
The first time we were there, I'm sure we ended up doing a bit of an interview, and I think it was Scottish TV were there actually. So have you got any like who's the band that are going to be there? Is there any is Billy like who's comparing and judging and that? Have you got any exciting names you can tell us about?
Yeah, so Billy is going to be the host again. He's going to be the compere. We've got the Battalion of Flies, who are a Scottish rock band. They're playing. Originally, it was meant to be Riders Creed. Unfortunately, the guitarist suffered a hand injury, so he can't play guitar at the moment. So yeah, we had a chat, came to the agreement that we put them on the list for maybe next year or the following years after that. Because they played 2020 and they got such a good reception, I got requests for them to come back. People were asking.
I thought the name was familiar. Yeah, that was the band that was there.
Yeah, they're decent. So yeah, unfortunately they had to pull out, and then the band I had lined up for 2024, Battalion of Flies, I just spoke to them. Luckily they were free, so they've filled the slot. We've got like professional wrestler Jack Jester, he's going to be there as a judge. One of the athletes, the Isle of Man TT racer that we sponsor, Jamie Coward, he's coming up. Calvin Gowland, a bodybuilder that we sponsor, he's coming up as well. So there's going to be a lot of the Braw universe there, as Billy keeps calling it. I think he's really tied in with wrestling, so he keeps referring to the WWE universe, so it's the Braw universe in Billy's eyes. But there's going to be a lot of folk there, man. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of the press are interested as well. There's a press release going out soon for it. And you're right, Damo, the year you were there, the STV News were there. We've had a couple of news channels there in the past as well. So it gets a bit of attention. Because it is, at the moment, it's the only one in Scotland. There's been a couple others that have come and gone, but Braw's kind of it's known as the kind of Scottish Beard Moustache Championship, so it gets attention. And
tell the audience one of my favourite things. So Damo said to me, he said, Dan, your beard's looking a bit ginger. It's really grey now, but he said you should enter the ginger beard competition. And I'm glad I swapped, because I think I changed from natural 4 to ginger, and then on the day I think next year I was like, no, I'm going to go back to the 4, and I'm glad I did, because when I got there I was just like, what am I doing? There's no chance in hell I was going to compete in a ginger beard competition with a greying red beard against all these fine Scottish redness. Just please explain how you judge the ginger beard category, because it blew my mind.
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. It's Drew for the liver beards. It's his criteria. I try not to get involved with the judging, so I genuinely don't know the criteria. I'm guessing it's the colour of it, how vibrant it is. Like you can't use hair dye or anything like that. It's got to be natural ginger. I'm assuming it's the colour, the vibrancy, the shape of it as well. But yeah, the ginger thing came up because it's, Scottish are kind of famous for the ginger hair, so we thought we'll make a ginger beard category just for a laugh. I don't know if that's in the British. Or
I was thinking more the can of Iron Brew. It was the.
Oh shit! Sorry, man. You set me up there and it
So,
went straight over my
so
head.
sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
because
do.
obviously they had them on stage, that was so good.
That's right. They used the can iron brew for the color reference. I think. I
Yeah,
think that was just a gimmick, but yeah.
it was good though. It got me. I thought that's brilliant. That absolutely brilliant. So no, I love that.
It's just wee things like that add to the atmosphere. Eh? It makes it funny, man.
There
So
are,
do you?
But yeah, because
Oh, sorry, yeah, go on. I've asked both. You go on.
I was just going to say there are some countries. I posted on Facebook 8 years ago about this. There are certain countries that tend to have decent genes for beards, and Scotland is definitely up there with it. I mean, when you can just tell when you walk into a beard competition in Scotland as opposed to one in England, you can just tell there's some. I mean, you've got your Davy Wallaces and Lindsay Houghton, and obviously yourself, John. There's just some real good genes for beards in Scotland. Isn't it? I know, like I always, what's America's massive for it, but Scotland is up there as well for big beards. Do you think? Would you agree with that, John? Or?
I would be, and it's due to the weather. I think it's just a natural scarf. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
we need it to keep warm up here, man. That's all it is.
It's interesting actually that your competition is in February. Obviously, when it is colder, freezing, because we're having a cold snap now. Was that a conscious thing because of the other competitions on the calendar, or was it just something that fitted you? Was it to get out of Valentine's? I don't know, John. How come February?
Nah, that's exactly it. It was it was a conscious decision I made again with Drew for the Live with Beards to run it in February because it was out with the rest of the competitions, mainly the British, because that runs in August. Is it August it runs? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wanted to stay away from the British just for respect to that, and I was aware there was other competitions around as well around the summertime. So we thought if we do it in February, it's the thing is you can never gauge the weather in Scotland anyway. I always say summer's the best day of the year. It's just it doesn't happen often. So yeah, we went February. It wasn't to get in there first in the calendar or anything like that. It was just get it out the way off the rest because we're aware, especially there's a bigger beard scene in England. I think there is, with the different beard clubs and the thatches and all that kind of stuff. So we're aware of the travel and the expense. So we didn't want to put it at the end of the year when people are saving up for Christmas. So we put it at the start of the year. I'm aware money's a bit tighter after Christmas and stuff as well, but it's out with all the rest of the competitions when people are going to be paying for tickets to go, around other competitions. So that was the thinking behind it, just to separate it a wee bit.
It has now become.
I think that's clever though.
Oh, kicks off
the first kick-off, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Good. So, I mean, as well as obviously. Sorry, listeners, that we have got a bit of lag. It's because Scotland's so far away, you see. I just wanted to make sure, John, that we cover some of your journey, because I know now you've got into coaching, and obviously you're busy with Braw. You've got the podcast, you've got the competition, you've got the brand, and now you're doing this coaching. You're on this this journey of development of yourself. So this is a bit of free time to tell us all about that as well, so we don't miss it.
Yeah, man, it's just so the coaching thing kind of came about. There's just with developing the brand, it's been 10 years. Started off in an industry, in a market that didn't really exist at the time. Started in 2012. There wasn't really a beard care scene. I wasn't aware of any other companies at the time because I hadn't done any research. It started by accident. It literally started by accident. So once I made beard oil, which was essentially hair oil for my wife, just thickened up a wee bit. Then I started doing a bit of research, and I was aware of Captain Fawcett were in England. There was another company as well. I forget the name.
Mariner Jack and Fine Fettle are some of the longer ones from the south, and Apothecary and people like that.
Apothecary started after Braw.
Was it?
Because I remember Sam started following all my stuff, and then he developed an Apothecary off the back of it. I can't remember the other company. But anyway, and then there was some in America as well. So yeah, that kind of stuff. It started in a market that wasn't there. That's what I'm trying to say. So I had to learn as I went along. And then people kind of kept asking for advice, and there's only so much you can share without giving too much away. So that was always in the back of my mind. And then I'm a qualified personal trainer as well, level 3 personal trainer, so I can give out plans. Qualified to do that. That was in 2011. I'd done that. just before breaking my back, and then I done the last exam after I broke my back. And it's just something that's, I've paid thousands for mentors and coaches in the past as well, just to help get over hurdles. You know what it's like. You have an end goal in mind, but there's mental fog there, and sometimes you just need someone else's advice. And if they're higher up the rung than you, I guess you got to pay for that advice and take it on board. And I always found that if you pay for it, you're more likely to implement it. If you get something for free, think about the free ebooks that are out there or the free tutorials. You get them, you download them, and you stick them in a folder to do them at some point, but you never end up doing it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you need to have some skin in the game, don't you, to appreciate
that's
it.
exactly
So,
it.
and then obviously, and then recently, or you're just about to finish another course. Is that a wide thing?
Yeah,
Is that
so
something that people has, or am I just kind of breaking news? No one knows about that. Shut up.
No, man. It's to be honest, right? To be honest, I signed up for this. Is it 2019? I think I signed up for a. Yeah, 2019. I signed up for a university degree. It's a business management university degree. The place was offered to me. It's a graduate apprenticeship course. It's called. So the course is designed for an employer to send an employee to university, get a degree in business management, and bring it back to the workplace. But I'm the only person on the course, the whole course throughout the country, I believe, that has their own business, that's self-employed. And
Top
I
of
just
the
signed
class.
up for it. Yeah, I seen the thing, and it was for employers to send employees, and I thought, well, I'm going to try and apply for this anyway and see what the crack is. They can only say no. And I got an email for the what do you call them? The head dude at the university, president, head teacher, I don't know, whatever they are, and the university.
The chancellor.
I'm not that smart. Oh, no.
Oh shit, that was me. Sorry.
Whatever he is, man, whatever he is, he sent me an email and he says, right, come to the university because we kind of need to chat about this because it's not standard practice for a self-employed person to come and do this. So I went up, had a chat, explained the situation and stuff, and he says, aye, right, we'll get you on board. And it started off, there was 15 of us in my class, and there's only 5 left now. It's like it's a full-time degree, and I'm just managing to weave it into Braw Beard life and family life. And life in general. So I can't wait till it's done, which is going to be April. So I've done 3 years already. I got a degree, but I'm doing the honours part of it now. So this is the last part, which is
the dissertation part. No, I take my hat off to you because I mean I went to university. My first year of uni, my first child was born, so I was having to kind of then support family and study. I was fairly young at the time as well. I mean, I went to university late, failed college, ended up going to university 4 years after doing a load of work and shit. So yeah, that's well done for sticking it out. Like you say, if there was 5 people left and you're one of them, that's a great shout. And how does it feel going back to school at this age?
To be honest, man, it's one of them. It's like the best bit of advice I was ever given was get out of your own way. I keep telling people that it's just like get out your own way, and I've always had that in my head for some reason. Like my whole family's always been working straight from school. No one's really went to university or college, and I never. Like straight from school, I went to work in a graphic design industry, at a business. I think I went to college for 1 year to learn website design to build a website, and even then I dropped out because the lecturer never turned up. So my attitude was, if he's not turning up, I'm not turning up, and it was just a shit attitude. And I wasn't really fussed about college or university after that. It wasn't until this course came up and I'm running Braw and I'm thinking it did start from an accident, and I've kind of been learning as I go along, but you're only learning what you're exposed to, sort of thing. So I thought if I do a business management degree, they're going to kind of show me how to run a business properly, which, you're learning bits of every discipline, I guess. The only thing I really dislike about it is the whole academic side of it. It's like take a model, like a theory model, apply it to something and fucking analyze it. It's like no one in real life does that kind of stuff. Yeah. So they have asked me, the lecturers have asked me, like, will you come in and do talks with the students, like starting their journey? I was like, yeah, well, once I get the degree, I'll do it, because then I'm going to tell the truth when I go in, and it will be exactly what I just said. It's like you don't need to analyze shit this much in life. It's you don't, not, unless it's a massive multinational industry and you've got like 10 people in one department, maybe you can start analysing stuff down to the finest detail then. But if you're self-employed, it's, you get the basics, you understand what you've got to do and you progress with it. You don't sit and analyse it unless you're doing analytics or anything like that. But yeah, they'll...
and I think more and more people now are starting to go into to set up their own businesses as well. So I think they need to kind of tailor that more to enterprise and entrepreneurship rather than like business studies. So my daughter's just started college; she's doing her A levels, and she sees me doing my business stuff, and she's just done. She's doing graphic design, business studies, and sociology. But the problem with business studies is you're just studying businesses, and she's just like, that's not what I want to do. So at that level, there's no sort of support to kind of get young people, or at A level anyway, into business, because it's like I say, it's learn theoretics, it's learn how businesses some do stuff, rather than, do you know what, most of these kids, they just want to learn how to make money rather than go and get a job. So let's start turning business a little bit. So I can see where you're going in terms of the theoretics, and a lot of it is a bit outdated. But I mean, having those letters after your name will be a great achievement. You can, and you'll probably have the best beard at graduation. Let's face it. I mean, in like the record of all graduates, there's a massive beard.
Well, I'm hoping that, man. I might puff it out so you can't see the collar on the whatever you call it, the gown thing.
Yeah, nice.
I'm looking forward to it because it's generally something I never thought I would see myself doing is graduating from university. It was never even a blip on my radar, and here we are. So I've still got the first...
How does that make you feel? Sorry, John. I get it. It's a lot, actually. I listen to a lot of personal development stuff and motivational stuff, and I'm sure you've heard of him, Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip-hop teacher. And he talks about... what you mentioned, and that like the first person in his family to get a proper education, and that was so he could set the standard or the tone to allow his son to realize that he can do that. So how does it feel, John? Like if you've broken that, something that's happened for generations, no one's actually gone and done that, you're the first person to do it. And obviously in this journey since I've known you, you have obviously had a son. How does that make you feel that you are opening up for someone to follow in your footsteps and give them belief? It must be good, right?
It is, man. It's a good feeling, and it's like I just want to keep learning, and it's not like I want to bury myself in books. I want to learn practical stuff and learn, and then lead by example. That's the kind of thinking behind the coaching as well. I know there's a lot of like dads, especially in the bearded community. There's a lot of dads that are kind of struggling, and just a lot of people in general are struggling, and it's kind of just learning to lead by example, creating the person you look up to as yourself, just having these values that make you the ideal person you want to be, and just live up to that. So yeah, get an education, start a business, train hard, don't sit about if you're feeling a wee bit sorry for yourself. Like the broken back's a bit extreme, but some people, if they've got a wee sore head, they're not going to go to the gym and train, or they feel sorry for themselves and they start eating comfort food, and you just set yourself back. So I'm just trying to lead.
Are you watching my Instagram story?
No, mate.
that sounds just like me, that does. Oh, do you know what? I'm not going to go gym today. They're going to get the Haagen-Dazs or the Ben & Jerry's other ice creams are available, and the big multi-pack of crisps, and I'm going to put them in the mic to piss them off.
I didn't see that. You're just going to pull the plug on me now, eh? That's it, done. Interview.
No, joking. Carry on.
It's that, man. It's just leading by example. Eh? Like Danny's too young at the moment to understand work and education and stuff. I read a book. We read 2 books every night before he goes to sleep. He loves books, but get him out on the bike as well. He's got a balance bike. I started off. I've got an old BMX. Actually, it's 22-year-old. This thing, GT Performer for 2000. I got it 22 years ago. So I got a wee seat for that he can sit on the top tube and stuff. So there's a pump track where we stay. So I was taking him around that when he was younger. Now he's progressed to the balance bike, and it's just keeping fit and realising that when you hit the deck, you get back up, sort of thing.
How old is Danny now?
He'll be 3 in April. So yeah.
So he's a couple of weeks away from his first paper round then on his balance bike.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, definitely. Gonna get a get a case on the back for him. Just in fact, I'll stick some flyers for the Beard and Moustache Championships in it.
Hey, there you go. That's his first job.
That's it.
Delivering Braw Beard leaflets. So that coaching that you're doing, John, that's a service that you're offering out to people, and that is that how do people, if they want to get in touch with you, if they're interested in helping and working with you?
Yeah, the best way at the moment is Instagram. Just send me a DM on Instagram. In the stories on Instagram, I'm always doing a wee bit, just talking about it. But I'm not pushing it too hard at the moment. I've got a couple of clients. So we do a one-to-one coaching program, which is obviously one-to-one whenever suits. And we do a coaching program, which runs on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's just a group call like this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about mindset, physical fitness. I can build training plans for people. Answer questions if it's business or personal. I'm not saying I know everything, but I've been on big enough a journey that I think that I can help. Any questions that came to me, I've not struggled to answer them, kind of thing. So, doing that, and it's just I'm kind of getting comfortable with the whole coaching thing myself. So I'm doing that until April, and then once uni's finished, I'm going to, take it, offer it to more people, should I say? I was going to say take it more serious, but I take it very serious. But you know what I mean? I'm quite happy with having a couple of clients at the moment. I take on a couple more, but the workload's about to ramp up for uni. And Braw Beard is my priority. That's my main focus. And then obviously coaching clients as well, but not the coaching business as such. I'll push that after April. That's my thinking there. Because I don't want to, I've burnt out in the past. I know how you burn out. I know how you feel when you start to burn out, and I know the consequences of burning out, so I don't want to do that. Just being sensible until the end of April, really. And I need to find a new lab. I think I found one, a new Braw lab. So we're looking for new premises as well. So there's a lot on my plate at the moment.
I'm going to say actually, so what's
a lot. It's a lot
for Braw Beard, over the next 5 years, what can we expect to see? What's going to be happening? And I think I saw actually you mentioned, it might have been on your Instagram or on your Facebook, about quitting drinking, because we've had the conversation on podcasts. We've had episodes about alcohol and productivity. So obviously you're looking after yourself. You're doing the personal training. You're always developing. You're always learning. You're always studying. You're doing the fitness. You've knocked the booze on the head. That's obviously going to feed into Braw Beard, and you're saying Braw Beard's your priority. Like, what's it going to look like the next 5 years? What's coming up?
I don't know. Like, genuinely, I don't know. We're working on some new products. Some new products a little bit different from beard care. We do every year. We release a new oil. It's anniversary. Our anniversary is October, so whatever year it is, we do an anniversary oil for that. But yeah, we're working on some new products I don't really want to give away at the moment.
No, don't.
Also doing the coaching thing. I've got loads of ideas for events as well. Got one's already booked. Again, I don't want to give it away because I've not really announced it yet. But events. So to answer your question, Damo, events, products, kind of lifestyle stuff. See, before COVID happened, I wanted to open a shop, to have a Braw Beard shop. There was a lot of people asking for it, so have a storefront somewhere. And to be honest, man, the rent is just through the roof at the moment. Like, prices are up.
It doesn't work. It's so difficult. So difficult with costs, with rates. Well, you might not necessarily be rateable depending on the size of the place that you've got, but the costs just to facilitate a shop, depending on where it's going to be, it's got to be in a really good high street, prominent location. Glasgow, especially, you're probably looking at crazy costs. It's one of those. It's a really difficult leap, isn't it? Because you kind of go, shit, we got to 3x our turnover almost just to pay for a shop. And then you've got to build on top of that. So it's a challenge, man. I've looked at it a couple of times and I've just thought, I'll just carry on like this for a minute.
That's it. It's that's exactly it, man. It's still kind of uncertain times, I guess, because the way the economy is and coming off the back of COVID, like I said, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. We did have plans to open a shop and had ideas for how the shop would work and stuff like that, and it's just taking a back seat at the moment. It maybe is a 5-year plan for that one. and it's just kind of.
I think so. I think as the high street starts to recover a little bit, because everyone got so used to shopping online, right? So, I still walk through town and I'm just thinking, crikey, we still haven't recovered from COVID in terms of high street footfall. We speak with local regional councils all the time, and everyone's saying, how do we get people back into the towns, and how do we get people back on the high street? And it's like, well, you're going to struggle for a good few years until people kind of change their mindset, because they're so used to being, just picking up Amazon now and just going, yeah, well, I didn't even have to go out my house and park my car and whatever. It's coming tomorrow. In fact, it's coming before 10 o'clock tonight. So it'll be a few years yet, I think, before that stuff kind of recovers. But I think, yeah, it'd be good to have a shop though eventually, wouldn't it?
It would be, man. That would be the dream, just having your own shop, people coming in and chilling out in your shop. It would be cool. But yeah, the reality is a lot different. There's a dream and the reality, and you kind of got to be sensible about it. You think about it. I always say think backwards, like think where you want to be, and then think backwards the steps to get there. And then as you get closer to where you are at the moment, you're like, it's expensive. So just give it a few years, I think.
No, it's a hard game as well. I mean, we've just taken on new premises here, and I've been putting it off for ages and ages, because you kind of think, oh, in order for me to justify the cost of this place, I have to, hustle, sell my body, become a woman of the night or something. But it is a struggle, and I think as you're probably aware, with more and more beard care brands popping up left, right, and centre, I think they see this dream of we can just mix some oils together and become alchemical wizards and become millionaires, and we can move to Bali next year, and don't actually realise that to build a brand, especially a brand as well known as Braw, takes time. It takes trust and effort from your part to gain the trust of your customers. So yeah, it's good to see that. For one, a brand like Braw hasn't been massively affected, that you got swept out through COVID, because I know there's a few brands that have been around for a while and got swept out. So it's really nice just to see, obviously, that hasn't happened. But yeah, I think, and I'm just buzzing to have you on the podcast as well, to be honest. So thanks for coming up. But I am aware, though, that we are pushing, because I know you said you have to sort of shoot off not too far after 6. And we've been on a long time. But before we do wrap this one up...
yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say I'm good for a little bit, man. I did have another meeting, but it's been cancelled. It's all good. So I've got.
Fine. I just saw the time, and I know you said you could probably stick around a little bit after 6, but I didn't want to kind of keep you if you've got to be elsewhere. So that's cool. So now we can carry on. I'll shut up. But I do have one question though before we do wrap it up, because I know Damo's quite quick to kind of go, right, we're going to shut the podcast off. Before we do wrap it up, I will have a question at the end. So Damo, go.
We normally do the podcast for 30 minutes, and I thought when we've got a guest, we sometimes go 45. And I've just looked and I'm like, oh shit, that's 53 already. So if you've got a question, Dan, far away. If it's about food, I would imagine. It will take a.
I actually haven't spoken about food. I haven't actually mentioned a word about food. So we can bring food into the podcast, and I have 2 questions. So John, what's your favourite food?
Haggis.
Just a burger. No, mate. Well, haggis. I like haggis, but it's a burger. Just a good burger. Just a big thick beef burger with relish, pickle. But bacon on there, onions, cheese, just a big
steady Dan salivating,
man. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Fuck. It is 6 o'clock. So Damo always says, why do you always talk about food, Dan? I'm like, because we do the podcast after 5, right? And I'm gearing up to dinner time. And I think it's just a subconscious thing. I'm like, food. I'm not really paying attention to the podcast. I'm like, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? I reckon I'm going to have some chicken.
What's your final question, Dan?
Yeah, man.
Final question is, in a year's time, looking back on not necessarily today, but this month and this year, what are you going to tell yourself in terms of, what are you going to thank yourself for in a year's time?
I'm hoping it's doing a university degree, because that's been a bane in my life. But no, I think it's probably going to be just being yourself more on camera. I think, see, when I started Braw, like being genuinely open with you, when I first started Braw, I thought I had to run it like a commercial business and be real strict and be, I guess, professional, But
Mm.
as the years have went on, I've kind of just came out my shell a wee bit and just been me. So it did involve a bit more swearing and stuff like that, but I've curbed that back because I'm aware there's a lot of guys watch the vlogs and watch the podcast with their kids. So I started curbing back the swearing, but it's just being yourself. Just like, see, if we'd done this podcast maybe 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have told you half of what I told you about going to university and stuff like that. But now it's just like, I don't care. It's just get it out, just be myself. So it would probably be that, to answer your question. It would be being thankful for just being myself on camera and just talking and just being open, I guess. That would be it.
I think
message.
personal branding is really important, because obviously in some of the stuff that I do with my Facebook group is promoting brands, and in the beard care world there are so many that a good way to stand out is to use personal branding, and a lot of the guys that are doing the stuff, some of them do it and some of them don't, and being yourself and being true to yourself, it makes everything easier. But also the fact that people, Braw Beard is JJ, it is John Jackson. We've seen him, we've heard him, we know his story. It does help a lot with the business, but it also helps, I believe, you, because it's easy. You're not thinking about having to do X, Y, and Z. You're just being yourself. And that's the same for Dan with RUNESILK and me with Damo's Beardy Fun Club. It's just, if you be yourself, it's polarizing as well. You attract the right people, and you push away the ones that that you wouldn't want to work with anyway. So yeah, it's a great thing, and it's literally come up actually this New Year's resolution for a couple of people about being yourself in a world where lots of people are fake online. It's actually quite nice on the inside to just be yourself and just. It's comforting. So, good work, John. Good work. What else you got, Dan?
Thanks, man.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good time. Sorry, John. It's difficult because I think there's a slight delay on your camera, so you kind of jump in and then I hear you say something. I can see your lips move, and then words. So I'm like, oh shit, wait, go.
Sorry, man. Sorry, it must be because we're up in Scotland. I think that's the excuse. But yeah, it was just.
You need to go and pedal the Wi-Fi out.
That's a big thing. It's right. Like, as long as it's not breaking up, man. I hope it's all right. But
no, that's fine. It's just. I think it's just that there's a slight lag. That's all.
Yeah, just like there was. I remember when I first started Braw, and it was getting some media attention. Like Fred Durst for Limp Bizkit got in. He became a fan of the brand, and the newspapers got hold of it, and people thought, I'll start a beard care. Other brands started popping up, and I think they were just trying to copy what I was doing, thinking that was going to work for them. And there was a couple of brands started, and they were doing like the motorbike thing, the rock and roll thing, the tattoo thing, and I knew it wasn't their life. That wasn't what they do, but they were seeing it worked for me, so they were trying to copy it. And yeah, they got a spike in sales, and they disappeared. And the brands have disappeared. And it's true. You got to build a brand around your personal lifestyle. It's, as you say, Damo, you can't pretend to be someone else, or you're going to get found out eventually. You just be yourself. It flows better. You build a brand based on you. As you say, it attracts your tribe, and that's what you want. You want it's like people who buy followers on Instagram. It's like, yeah, you could go and buy followers and have 100,000 followers, but the engagement is crap because no one's interested in your content. It's just all bots or tiny accounts. I would rather have 6,000 hardcore followers than 100,000. You know what I mean? You attract your tribe, and that's what you want. You just want this small community of solid followers and loyal followers. So yeah, that's my TED.
Just be careful, don't make a big mistake like me though. I don't know, you've probably seen it, John. And so one of my first adverts I did was me wearing a pink dressing gown running through a field, and it was just to grab attention. So people go, "Wow, there's a guy in a pink dressing gown," and I attracted a lot of the wrong sort of people for that, because I was only wearing my pants and a dressing gown, and it was a pink dressing gown. I was like, "Oh, damn." But yeah, so you have to be clever and strategy and careful. Don't go running through the fields in your pants and a pink dressing gown just for attention, John. You might get the wrong attention.
But it might be the right attention, really. You just have to embrace it, Damo. Maybe that's your fan base. It's people that want to see you with your glorious beard and your pants and a pink dressing gown. I mean,
it wasn't my dressing gown, Dan. It was the missus's.
Don't lie, man. See this? Remember what we were saying about being honest on the stream.
Right, we're at an hour. We ought to say goodbye, and we ought to thank our listeners for listening because it has been a long one. And we definitely need to thank John Jackson for coming on. Go and check out Braw Beard, BRAW Beard Oils. Have you got two sites actually, John? Have you? Because you've got the one for the competition separate as well, haven't you? Do a little plug, John. Where can we find you? What's your Instagram as well?
Yeah, it's So yeah, the website is brawbeardoils.com, like I said. The competition is thebrawbmc.com. All the tickets and details are there for the competition. Instagram, just at Braw Beard Oils. YouTube is the same, I think. Facebook's the same. Just type in Braw Beard Oils. Either this logo here will pop up or my ugly face will pop up. So, yeah. There's plenty of content on the YouTube channel. You know, we've got the vlogs going, the tutorials, the podcast, that kind of stuff as well. So there's plenty going on, man. I appreciate you guys getting me on. I really do appreciate it. And thanks for letting me plug the championships and the brand. I really appreciate it. And,
no worries.
Yeah, respect to both of you guys, what you're doing, man. It's good.
We'll put some links in the comments as well, so people can just go straight to you. We'll put links to the competition, to the website, to your socials, so people can go and follow, and hopefully join you guys in Scotland as well for the comp.
Right, guys, let's say bye to everybody. Bye. We'll see you all in the day. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening or watching the Beardmail Podcast. We have new episodes dropping at 07:30 a.m. every Wednesday in UK time. So we thank you very much for watching. Check us out on www.beardmail.co.uk for everything that's new and happening soon. Thanks for listening, guys.